Welcome back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. So I had two exact questions asked over the weekend here. Both of these companies are hiring both of the two companies are hiring a new admin for their office. So they're looking to bring on an office staff, and they want to know what is the process of going out and hiring and onboarding and training an office staff person using a software such as Service Autopilot. So I broke down some quick notes, how to go out and actually hire your first office staff person, or go out and hire additional or new people in your office using a product similar to Service Autopilot or Service Autopilot. So what I'm gonna do is break down the screen here. I've got a checklist of some things I wanna go through and never seen before. I'm actually gonna lift the hood on some of the onboarding automations that we actually use at SimpleGrowth and what the workflow looks like there. So first thing we want to be looking at is when we go in as we hire a new person, there's really some due diligence that we need to do. And a lot of us, especially owning service businesses, I'll be honest, in the early days myself, I would sometimes forget to do these things, especially when we're in the spring rush or we're having labor issues, we forget to do them. Please, please, please take the extra hour or two, whatever that looks like, go find a consultant that specializes in it, such as Jason Cupp, to do these things. This is something we've done in my business and I highly recommend it. But at the time of hire, we want a physical written job offer. If you're using Service Autopilot, I recommend turning an estimate in the document actually into the electronic job offer, where they can go in and click the accept it and sign it electronically. It's saved right in SA. We want to do a non-solicitation and a non-disclosure agreement. So a non-solicitation is going to be basically today's version of a non-compete. So we're going to go out and put this together so our new employee, if they decide to leave us, are not going to go out and solicit our existing client base. And a non-disclosure. So some of the workflow, the technology, the certain things that make your business different, we're going to have that in a non-disclosure agreement. Third, and definitely not third and least important, is tax document collection. So we want to go out, get our I-9, our W-4, and the IT-204. And if your company is utilizing direct deposit, if you're not, I highly recommend it, a direct deposit form. As an admin, if there is the ability of them working remote right now in the COVID days, we want to have technology and equipment form if they're working remote. So they're accepting the technology and they're agreeing to give it back. Once again, someone like Jason Cupp would be a great person to do this. And then in addition, we want to send our core values in an email and a welcome video from the owner. So before I dive into the internal processes to make this happen, I'm actually going to flip the screen here and go into the back end of an automation that we have internally in one of our automation platforms. But what we have here is we have a form that literally goes out and is filled out by your office staff. And this right here is going to go in and fill out all the information of the new hire, what their new job responsibilities will include, and the start date. And then if we want to send out the job offer, we can click this. And once they have accepted the job offer, we can have a manual override. But this is going to track that job offer and all the information that needs to be merged into it. So once that is done, it's going to trigger a series of events. So right now, that job offer and the non-compete or non-solicit would be emailed out to the applicant here, or in Service Autopilot, we've done it right inside the document editor. What's going to happen there is this tag is applied once that is taken care of. And then we have an internal task to go to our Monday board. And then what we do is we've got an internal task here that goes out by email to basically have our technology person set up the technology and set it up for them. So if you're just the business owner by yourself doing this, highly recommend still building these parts in, because it's going to hold you accountable to make sure what should happen happens each and every time we have a new hire. And then the final part here is the external email. And we send this email out, and inside the email, it goes through all the things that they need to fill out. And we give them electronic links to go out and grab the different tax documents. So basically, hey, in order for your first paycheck to be issued, we need the I-9, the W-4, IT-2104, and the direct deposit form. When you're done, please email them back to Tammy. She can be contacted through this number. And there's a video here that actually plays in the email, or linked out basically that I actually welcome them to the company and acclimate them to what to expect. And when they click on each one of these links, it sends them the link to download or fill out the electronic version of the document. So we have all the documents all there each and every time we need that when we have a new hire. So that is the process. One day after that, we're going to send out an email. And this email goes out and dials into our core values, our mission, vision, values. So now that we've got them in, we want to start to acclimate them to what we stand for. So we've got our values built out in the email. So this is just going to be starting to warm them up. So when they come to the first day of training, well, it's in person or virtual, they know what our values are and what we stand for, and we're reinforcing those right off the bat. Now, that is basically at the time of hire. Now we have our internal process, which I've kind of highlighted. So we want to go in and set a bunch of automated repetitive tasks. So a 90-day reminder in the CRM, such as Service Autopilot, that their 90-day probation period is over with, and we're going to set up that review. We want to order or reassign the technology, such as a laptop and monitor, and then install the voice over IP. So most companies now are using voice over an internet provider for a phone service, something like RingCentral. Those are certain things that you need to get installed on the technology as far as the computer before you hand that over. So those are certain things that we recommend looking at. Next thing is we want to go in and create logins and invites for Service Autopilot. The voice over IP, say at RingCentral. We want to set up G Suite. If you're not using G Suite for $5 a user, I believe it is, totally worth it. So as you bring them on or let them go, or as they evolve into positions, the user rights and roles can be opened up. That's going to include your company email. G Sheets is basically a version, Google's version of Excel, and then Google Docs is basically Google's version of Microsoft Word, but they're all in there. And then when somebody moves from your organization, all those documents can be swept over to the next person and bucketed up. Want to include them for the logins for the GPS tracking software if you're using one. If you're using internal office communications such as Slack, we want to get them in those as well. This seems very obvious, but the last time we did a new hire, I started going through this, and there's a lot more to it than just hiring someone. I would highly recommend, if this admin is going to be a senior level admin, Facebook page access or through your chat bot, such as ManyChat, so they can respond and answer chat on Facebook. We want to get them on your YouTube channel. Instagram is going to be inside of Facebook, and the email for your webmaster for content creation. So if you're pumping out content like we are here, or my buddy Garrett Matthews at Garrett's company, Matthew Lawn and Pest, we're creating a process where we're making a video on our phone. We're getting that information to the admin, and they're uploading that from the Facebook page onto YouTube, and then they're taking the YouTube video with a transcript from YouTube and giving it to the webmaster to put it on our website for SEO and relevance. So these are different things. So think about all the tax documents, the onboarding documents, what technology, what are the different logins and invites you need to get them in there. And I would have a central secure doc that lists all the things that person's been logged into, because not if, but when they leave your organization on good or bad terms, we want to be able to lock that down and pass that on to the predecessor. Then we want to create and invite the new hire to the online learning hub for the software that's being utilized. So I'm going to go in and show you under the hood what we've done for our learning process for Service Autopilot, RingCentral, and Slack. And then we'll go into some call scripts. But right here, I'm going to go in and kind of show you what we've got here. So we've got a whole bunch of courses we made, but if we are using a product such as Service Autopilot, this is my internal office training. This is all the videos of workflow that we need to be learning when we go into SA. So as we look into this, I'm going to go into one of the ones we have open to the public, not to give all the secrets away, but let's see here. So I've got SA workflow training for V3. So this would be an example of what our office staff would be going through here. And anybody who's interested in being put into this for your office staff, feel free to just drop me a message on this live or recorded version. I'll get you a free invite into our V3 training, as well as our V2 training for Service Autopilot. So I'm going to open this up so you can kind of see what this looks like, not in the edited version, but behind the scenes. So what we've got here is a video of myself welcoming them, how to use the course here if they've never used it. And then we have our 6 modules. So each module has 6 videos in it, but it literally goes down. So the questions people were asking is, well, what do I train people to do in the office? Well, we literally go from lead acquisition all the way through estimate, billing, and fulfillment. So this first video, they're 3 to 5 minutes. This is how to track the lead source. This is how to do referral tracking, commercial versus residential properties. How do we update the billing details? What's the gear icon look at? Is it lead acquisition via the office or the website? What's the workflow? So we've built videos around this. And then we go through a test where they actually have to test their knowledge. And if they don't get 100%, we send them back to the beginning of the videos, and there's some logic training in there as well to make sure they understand it. So that's our first of 6 areas. Next thing we go in is a 2-way texting, user rights and roles, job estimate templates, estimate documents, pricing grids, service and custom fields, and master packages. Then we have a test again. So these are the things that we're breaking down when you're bringing somebody new into Service Autopilot. Chapter number 3. We're going to go in for to-dos and types, Maps Pro or Smart Maps, estimate templates when creating an estimate, estimate template workflow for emailing and printing estimates, the process when we lose an estimate, the process when we win an estimate, and once again, a quiz. So you kind of get the idea. We're building a workflow and training to that. Chapter 4 is going to go in and schedule or converting a lead to a client, scheduling a one-time job, scheduling a reoccurring job, a waiting list job, a package job, and setting up a contract with installment billing. Once again, we have a test there. Chapter number 5, we're diving into route optimization, manually routing group stops, showing route pins, GPS, and driving directions, changing crew assignments on the fly for 1 day only. So if we have a no-call, no-show employee, and schedules live in the mobile or print. So we go in and show them what it looks like to be in the mobile or printed. Then we have a test on that again. Then the final 6th chapter brings it home. This is going to be our closeout day screen and billing. So we go over the closeout day screen and crew members, closeout day screen sanity check for budget and price, how to print and email invoices, how to run credit cards, and payments and prepays. And we have a final quiz. So that's the high-level overview that we recommend, at least in Service Autopilot, to train that new admin. Once again, if you make a comment on the live or recorded version, I'll get you a free invite to this as well. So we've got our V3 training. We have about 170 videos made by SimpleGrowth, how to use V3 when you're ready for it. And we have this testing here with training that we can share with you free of charge for your office staff. So once we've got that in, it sounds basic, but yes, we really want to take a look at phone call script. Hey, this is Mike. Thank you for calling SimpleGrowth. How can I help you? If you don't document it, you don't set it standard process, it's not going to happen. That's going to reflect poorly upon your business. So those are things you want to include. Now, the next thing we want to look at, in my opinion, is office rhythm. So what is your daily rhythm? Answer phones and check voicemails. Make call ahead. So if there's any call aheads for cleaning or lawn care that need a call ahead, we make those calls. We assign and route on-site estimates. So estimates we can't do over Maps Pro or over the phone and cleaning. We set those up as to-dos or tickets in V3, and we route those and hand that off to the estimator. We're going to double check the closeout day screen and report the actual versus budgeted time as the admin to the business manager or owner. We're going to track and manage damage cases on the damage level of a to-do and the employee associated with, and we're going to run our credit cards and process payments daily. So that's our daily rhythm. Let's set some expectation and a framework how it should happen. Highly recommend if you're using something like the SimpleGrowth repetitive task, we create an automation that assigns this each day with a deadline. And if it doesn't happen, it'll text or email that person to let them know they didn't do their job and they need to get it done. And depending on the importance, it'll escalate that to the manager or business owner, letting them know what daily tasks weren't done or weekly or monthly or quarterly tasks. So now we've kind of defined our daily rhythm. We're going to go back in weekly Monday meeting is what I'm recommending. So your Monday meeting outline is we're going to go over and have the admin report out to you AR. So your accounts receivable from 1 to 30, 30 to 90, or 30 to 60, and 60 to 90. Our new client count. How many new clients have we had that last week? So the previous week, they're reporting out. Client cancellation count, and our QuickBooks stats and questions. So if we're using the QB Sync or manually making journal entries, we want to have that update. So those are the top 3 or 4 things that admin, in my opinion, should be reporting out to the business owner on a weekly basis. I recommend Tuesday at 9 a.m. Or in the morning, we have AR, accounts receivable, driven by an automated to-do assigned to the admin. So if you're using something like the SimpleGrowth overdue invoice automation, it's going to assign a task or a to-do to call the overdue accounts, hopefully collect the money. If the money's not collected, we pause the account and set up a payment plan. We have a final warning. And then the final warning after that is we actually send them to collection. So we have some kind of process that admin's just going to be plugging into each and every day for accountability and systemized work. Final thing here, and obviously this is not all of it, but this is kind of going to get the wheels turning. Expired credit cards not updated by an automated form. So if you're going out with a PCI compliant credit card form through, say, Clarent, if the consumer hasn't updated their credit card when it's about to expire in 30 or 45 days, we have a trigger in an automation assigned to the admin, say every Tuesday, to call and enter the new credit card in. So we're creating predictable outcomes day in and day out for that admin. Now, a couple of private messages I'm getting here is some people are interested about that Learning Hub again. So I'm going to kind of hop back in here and go back out to my courses. But this is where it gets a little interesting is we've got the SA training, but even if you're not using SA, these are the things you need to look at. So we've got Ring Central. That's that voice over IP. This goes down how to use it. We've got Slack, how to use Slack, how to use ManyChat, the Facebook Messenger. But let's go into Slack just as a really basic example here of these are the things we want to take the knowledge silo of that business owner and stick it in a process. So we have the message from the instructor once again, how to use it, but what is Slack? And we have a video. What is a channel? What is a direct message? How to sign into Slack. And preparing and collecting note sheets for weekly team meetings. That's a video. And we have an area here where we could test the learning if we wanted to build a test out. So these are all the things that I would highly recommend building out when you bring on a new admin, or even if you haven't, have the admin build this. So as they evolve in their position, it's not all lying on you as the business owner. So these are some of the things that I would really recommend looking at in there. Literally office systems for YouTube. So if that admin is going in and using YouTube to upload videos, make a video of how to do it. G Suite, how do we use all the different G Suite tools, the email, the sheets, the docs, all of that is in there and everything else in between. So these are things I'd highly recommend looking at, building that out for your business and your admin. So drop a message in the private or in the messages if you'd like an access to about the 170 videos we've made for V3 training at no charge. For Service Autopilot, they will be continued to add as SA continues to add that functionality. If you want the access to the V2 training with testing, I'm happy to share that out as well. So Callahan's Corner, you ask the questions, we answer them live here on Facebook, but what does that look like for new office training, and how do I bring in a new admin and start to get them up to speed, especially in the COVID days if they're not working physically in your office? Those things like the online learning hub that we've utilized have been instrumental for success, as well as things like Slack and voice over IP, like Ring Central, where that can be remotely on a soft phone on their computer or a hard phone in their office as well. So comments, questions, drop below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook.